Welcome back to another Let's Talk video. In this one, I had this list in my brain, 5 major moments in in like the cinematic storytelling, solo, co-op, but campaign modes, not multiplayer, not esports or any of that stuff, but just 5 really big moments that have always been stuck in my head. And I've always just kind of, when I'm trying to tell somebody about like huge moments in gaming, or in virtual storytelling, that, moments that could rival movies and all that. These are moments that I always go back to. So one thing I do want to say though, before I go into this, if you have not run through all the stories in this list of games that I bring up, definitely it's highly recommended. Pause the video, go and check out the games, check out the stories, but definitely I'm going to be doing a lot of spoilers in this, and this is like jam-packed with spoilers and jam-packed with a lot of trailer footage and everything. But yeah, definitely recommend that you go and check them out before you actually listen to this whole video. So the first one, so moment or series number 1, I think you know where I'm going to go with this. It's always number 1 with me. It's just my personal favorite of all time. The original Mass Effect trilogy. I think that it's a great time to be bringing up, especially with a video talking about emotional moments in gaming. I think it's probably hit me the hardest of everything that I'm going to be saying on this list of 5 moments. Definitely just the whole thing of, it's not just so much a trope of trying to save the universe or save the world or anything. You are essentially trying to save humankind, all the alien races, save every planet known to existence, stop an invasion, while also trying to somewhat cure a genocide and possibly bring back another race of aliens that were basically put to the genocide of their own self. So there's just multiple stories interweaving in this whole universe that gets built around the central point of we need to bring everybody together and unify together against the one common threat against everyone, which is the Reapers. It's just this epic tale that spanned across 3 very large titles, and just built this whole universe around it. Spawned books. It is now being remastered, and then hopefully a 4th entry into the Shepard storyline. So it's just emotional moments in it are definitely points in the storyline where you've helped out the characters in like the first game, and then all of a sudden the second game, it's either that, because you spend so much time talking to the characters and everything, the second game, all of a sudden it's just like certain characters don't like you or whatever, and it's just like, whoa. It does kind of hit you whether you're expecting it to or not. The Elusive Man also is definitely one of those characters where the people that he brings in for your crew and everything, as soon as you start Mass Effect 2 and you see that Joker is back as pilot, you're just having this moment of, it's like a warm fuzzy feeling of like, oh, okay, we got the ship back, we got Joker back and everything. And it's just like you have so many of those, those emotional little fuzzy feeling moments sprinkled throughout, but also you have in like Mass Effect 3 where an image that is burned into my brain is standing there with the gun in hand. The Reaper is looking down, and just the sound of the Reaper just getting ready to demolish you. And I think that image will always be burned into my brain of just like one of these holy moments. Like, what am I supposed to? Okay, let's go. The second one that I would like to bring up is The Last of Us 1 and 2. Just the epic thrill ride that spanned across 2 consoles. Because the first one came out on the PS3, the second one came out on PS4, and just this ride that you're going through of watching Ellie grow up, of watching Joel become, just becoming what he truly is. He's the hero, but he's not exactly necessarily the nicest guy around. And just everything that interweaves in between all of it. And I mean, the last was part 2, just reiterating just how much Joel will go through and do for Ellie. As much as there's controversy around the whole storyline, as much as there is, this, that, and the other thing being said, on online and everything, it is still just like a masterpiece of storytelling. And also the whole cast that had any roles in The Last of Us 1 and 2, they did outstanding, job. Neil Druckmann also directing the whole thing. Just wow. When the behind the scenes of the performances that Neil got out of Troy Baker being playing Joel, and also the performances that he got for Ellie and everything, it's just like, man, it's just an instant classic. Both of them really are just an instant classic, and the fact that people talk so much and argue so much about The Last of Us Part 2 just goes to show the impact that the first game had and how much of an impact that the second game really plays on everybody's minds, whether they really want to admit it or not. There was so much feeling and emotion coming through Joel and Ellie, just off from them, just bouncing the whole, the care and wanting each other to survive and everything. It's in a lot of ways, it's like a father-daughter relationship that you're getting thrown into that role of like, okay, now I gotta be looking out for this kid, and it was great all the way through. Every moment in The Last of Us was just a knockout, of a move. And also Abby, just including Abby in that whole other perspective shift in part 2, where everything that was leading up in part 1 and all the DLC and everything, just everything comes together so well. And I know there's a lot of people that like to argue that point and everything, but like again, like I said, that's the reason why it's so good, because it's just a perspective of what everybody, whether or not the story went the way that you wanted it to, it's still like people are still talking about it so dramatically. So third on the list, and definitely again, these are just like, it's not a top 5. It's just like this is just the third one on the list that I was thinking of, was Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2. Just the story going from, technically it should be from 2 to 1, because 2 is the prequel to 1. But I was so afraid that Rockstar, because usually when you have the sequel is actually a prequel, those usually are so weird to try and run through and everything. Rockstar, they knocked it out the park. Everybody loves the whole the whole gang that's in RDR2. The story of seeing Marston, everything that Marston is talking about in the first RDR1, just coming to life, and you can actually experience it. Everything that he was talking about in RDR1, in RDR2, in Red Dead 2, and Arthur is such a good addition. Like he he is like the brother to John, within the gang itself. It just works off from each other so well, and they rounded out the story. Like all this story that, maybe Red Dead 1 should have been the Arthur Morgan story, but I think them waiting to do Arthur's story in the second one with the better hardware and everything, I think it really rounded everything out. But also running through Red Dead Redemption 2, if you go back and watch Red Dead Redemption 1, and again, big spoiler alert, but Marston's death, it like Red Dead 2 makes Marston's death in the first game so much more impactful. just on the fact that now you have all this backstory, you have all this perspective of who John Marston is leading up to that point. And then also Arthur's death of just up on the mountainside and everything was just the hair on the back of my neck was standing up. It was just like this crazy moment, and I think there is two different scenes because there is two different branching pathways that the ending can go for that. So the one that I saw was him up on. I have actually not seen the second one, and I am currently starting to play through RDR2 on the PC. So I'll definitely be checking out the second ending very soon, but. Yeah, it's definitely just one of those things where I don't think I'm ever going to forget just the adventures of being on horseback, actually being able to live in that world of the cowboys, Wild West lifestyle, something that you've only seen in movies before, and then and Rockstar actually brought it to life in the virtual world. And again, you're spending so many hours in it, you feel like you're living in it. And it's so detailed, and just everything that you have to do, taking care of your horse, to getting pelts, to upgrading your equipment, to working with, you better be careful when you're going into town, being, an outlaw and everything. The whole aspect of just living in that world for a good set number of hours, 100 and something hours, whatever it is, if you do everything, yeah, it was rounded out so good. Just to think that, also a big one. If you think about how long the people who played those characters in the game, and yes, I know they played the characters in the game, but the people that brought those characters to life, that's the better way of putting it. They had to stay in that role for so long, for so many years. It's crazy that the characters are so lifelike, and that they were able just to snap back in and do that role all over again. It's just, if you have not checked it out, definitely go check it out. So the fourth one that I thought of was a little game. I streamed the whole thing. So I've played most of these games that are on this list, and Detroit Become Human was one of these games that I was like, okay, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a good one. I did not know it was going to hit me with right at the end too. It was like right towards the tail end. It was probably within the last maybe 2 or 3 hours of the whole story that it hit me with this whole thing. And leading up to it too, there was moments of just stuff that's happened recently with politics and the way that the world is in this like state of chaos between people's rights and this and that. It's just like this weird thing of your choices actually mattering later on down the road. It was literally just something that I set up for my own self to really get hit by, of this moment of like, oh, I made that happen because I was so gung-ho. So in Detroit Become Human, there is a spot in the storyline where you can either initiate a riot. Yeah, a riot, like welcome to 2020, right? But you can initiate a riot, or you can actually hold your ground and keep the police from pushing the whole riot scene into play. And I initiated the riot, and it's just this really crazy moment of putting yourself into the shoes of people out on the street and everything, and how it can backfire so badly. So after the riot scene happens, later on down the road, androids are being like hunted and such. And was it Kara and the little girl? I can't remember what the little girl's name is, but you're up to the border, and again, big major spoiler alerts on this. You're up to the border, and you can see it in my playthrough that I did on Twitch. I'm up to the border. I'm like, okay, we got this, no problem. And I'm trying to play it all cool and everything. I mean, we got the little headpieces out and everything, so they look like they're human and all and such. And all of a sudden, up on the screen, pops up their pictures. Is Kara and a little kid. security gets alerted and they come over, and the next thing you know, they're, get down your hands or get down your knees, hands on your head. And just the fact that because I did something that initiated a riot, and all that led up to this moment where it was just like it was out of my control, and because they're androids, basically it was like this feeling of because I did the riot thing, I got a little kid killed. And that burned into my brain so heavily of just that moment. It was just like, whoa, actions resulting in something happening later on. And that was, I mean, it say what you want about, a David Cage game and all that, but it was just one of those things of, even in real life, IRL, watch yourself, watch your actions, make sure that you're not making, doing stuff in IRL that makes, a big scene and whatnot. Unless you are like, standing up for yourself. But then, even then, just be weary of the consequences down the road. Basically, that's what the life lesson in the whole thing was. It was just a very big reminder of that. And same way that The Last of Us Part 2 is like perspective. Put yourself in the other person's perspective. Just a big reminder of that overall. So moment number 5. So this was a build up of over a trilogy also. So the game is Gears of War 3. And yes, I don't give Microsoft a ton of love nowadays, just because I don't see much that they put out. I mean, Microsoft Flight Sim was the last, major thing that they put out that was like, this is cool. So we're gonna rewind back to the Xbox 360 days, and the Gears original Gears trilogy. It was something special, so special that, I mean, everybody was checking it out. Everybody. At first, I didn't really like Gears of War, and then I started getting into it, and I was playing through it co-op and everything. And just seeing Dom, he's a really cool character. He's like one of those very rare occasions where the co-op character is just as cool as the main character. And Gears 2, I'm pretty sure it was Gears 2, where you're going through the whole Locust, cave system hives, their main base. And you're hunting for Dom's wife, trying to free her and everything. And all of a sudden, there's this moment where you finally find his wife, and Dom. You're seeing it through Dom's perspective. Once again, the play on perspective, and she is healthy and happy to see you and everything. And all of a sudden, Marcus goes, "Dom." He says like something like that. I just distinctly remember him saying Dom. And as soon as Dom looked over at Marcus, like, what? And he looks back, and all of a sudden his wife is just this frail, bone figure just standing there. And that was, I don't know why, but that moment just really stuck. And then a few years later, when Gears 3 came out, it was just like this whole thing of Dom going through this whole depression and like, the tomatoes, that joke that's in there of like, damn it, they squashed my tomatoes. But then it comes the moment of they are cornered up on a rooftop, and the locusts are all surrounding them, and they don't know how they're going to get out. And Dom makes the ultimate sacrifice of basically doing the suicide run and blowing the locusts to to hell and back. And it was just one of those moments I did not see coming. As soon as he jumped down, I thought it was just going to be like this really cool superhero moment of like, yep, Dom's going to be the badass once again. He's going to save everybody's ass, where Marcus is over there like, good shit, bro. One of those moments. And then all of a sudden, boom, Dom's gone. And it was just like, what? I don't think I even said a word after, for the next like mission or two. It took a while for me for it to like sink in that, yeah, Dom is actually gone. Like, whoa, all these years building up to this one final goodbye where Dom just saves everyone, which is so fitting for Dom's character too. It was just this great build up and moment to happen. So, if anybody out there is wondering, like, why do people get into story-based games? Why do games, why do so many people think that games need a story? It's because moments like that, that I've just been going on and on about. It's just like, whether you feel something or not, it's kind of hard not to like see that there is something special with the cinematics of it, with the story writing of it, with the technical aspect of it, with the performance of it, the music that goes with it, just the whole 9 yards of everything that comes together to make this major moment happen. And whether or not it affects you on a personal, emotional level, it definitely hits so many people that you have reaction videos where you have people talking about it years later, where a video like this gets made about these moments. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this. So that was 5 major moments in gaming history. Some of them were not just moments, but like series also. Yeah, it's just kind of just like a loose let's talk video, just like some of my favorite moments that have happened over the years, and just gushing about some really awesome titles. If you have not checked out any of those games on the list, I'd highly recommend it. Hopefully this kind of sells you on some stuff, and I know that there were some spoilers in this, so definitely I hope that doesn't discourage anybody from going out and checking them out, but I did put that spoiler warning. So definitely check around the YouTube channel for more Let's Talks and recorded gameplays. That's definitely coming up very soon too. But outside of that, I guess the rest of it is hitting that thumbs up button, hitting the subscribe, the bell if you want to see when the videos are going live and everything. And as always, down in the comments section, maybe post up in the comments section. I'm trying to interact more with the viewers. Definitely, like one or two major moments that you've seen over the years. It should be fun just seeing what people say on that. So I guess we'll round this out with thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. And as always, I will see ya next time.